Longhorns, and welcome back to Lambert Plains. I'm excited to have you here. I want you to know that right now you're like, Bass, what in the world is going on? Yes, you may hear a little of that, parents. You may hear a little of this. I am a little bit under the weather, but not too much under the weather to celebrate my exciting guest that I have here today. Yes, Longhorns, we have this year's Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Medved. We're so glad to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So before we get started with that great momentous moment of being chosen and announced, tell us a little bit about your background.
So when I first got into education, I was actually an early childhood major. So I taught 4th and then 5th grade and quickly realized I didn't do my best as elementary. It was a okay position, but my passion was math. Oh. So I moved up to middle grades math with the encouragement of the principal I was under at that time, and then slowly worked my way up to teaching high school math as well.
Oh, so math is your thing.
Math is my thing.
Now are you in the special ed department though?
I am.
Okay.
So I'm kind of one of those.
So how does that work? Tell us how that works.
So my home is technically the special ed department, but I also spend a lot of time with the math department because I teach the same curriculum as the math teachers.
Oh, excellent. So the kids more of our kids get the benefit of working with you then.
Yes.
Okay.
When I get to co-teach,
yes.
It's magic.
So which is great because, parents, for those of you that are unsure, a lot of times co-teachers, they're out of field sometimes, or they're not respected as far as being a real teacher, I hate to say. Not the case here, obviously, with our Teacher of the Year, and really not the case, I believe, here at Lambert. I think our co-teachers are phenomenal teachers.
They are, and they have a lot that they put into the classes, and you have people that know the curriculum, which is phenomenal because the kids know they've got 2 people to go to, but when somebody doesn't know the curriculum, they're learning it along your student, and if they're learning it along your student, when they don't understand something, they're really quick to say, hey, hold up, what's going on? I don't understand, which means that every kid in the room that has that same question is being covered by that teacher because they were unsure as well.
Excellent. Well, again, shout out to you, Teacher of the Year. Now that is a very exciting accolade, to say the least. Tell me what it means to you.
It's such a big deal to be Teacher of the Year, but I don't feel like I'm a big deal. I feel like being recognized is huge, but there are so many people in this building that deserve it as much, if not more, than I do. So I was very much caught off guard. It was one of those moments where I finally saw how many people absolutely love me and support me, which I don't always see because I'm just so busy with the day-to-day of teaching. Right.
What's really cool about it is that you were selected as a Teacher of the Month last year, and then that puts you in the pool for those parents out there who don't know how we work it. But then you're voted on by all of your peers, the entire staff, and that's got to be really a nice feeling to know that your peers are the ones that see you as someone who they would deem worthy of this.
Yes, it's huge.
It is huge. So we've talked a little about what you enjoy teaching. You talk about math, and you're in our special ed department. In all your years, what is the so-called Medved secret sauce to being a good teacher?
Well, so this is my 16th year teaching, and I think the magic for me is the relationships I build with my students. I have students that have since graduated from college, are off, they've gotten married, but they've all found me on things like Facebook, and they've kept in touch with me. And these are kids that I told them as middle schoolers, you can friend me. I won't approve you until you are 18 years old. And they stuck around in that inbox waiting for that approval, and they still reach out to me. And then the kids here at Lambert, and I've been here 5 years, these kids come back and they just to say hi, tell me what's going on in math class, what's going on in their life. So having those relationships is what makes me more successful in the classroom.
That is so awesome. And we do what we do, a large part is because we want to believe that we impact kids. And obviously if these kids are, whether it be requesting me a friend or coming back for help or just to say hello, you obviously have done something right. So that's just phenomenal. So you mentioned you came up through the ranks, so to speak, as far as different levels of teaching from different grade levels. How is Lambert High School different from any of the other schools in which you taught, whether it be level-wise or just as a different high school?
Yeah, so the one thing about me is I've taught not only public school, I've also taught private and charter. So what I've found that any school that lets a teacher be a teacher and lets them follow their passion and do what they know is best for their students, that's the spot that the teachers are the most successful. And that's what Lambert does. They let me do what I do best, and they know that I'm doing my job, so they don't come in and try to micromanage me. I also have found my very first year here, I remember no matter who I asked anything to, there was never somebody that said no. It was a yes every time. It didn't matter if they were busy with something. It didn't matter if I was asking for materials for my classroom. The answer was always yes. And that helped me to make sure that when people asked me for help, I always said yes. Even if it may be I can't do it today, but how about tomorrow? Just making sure that those doors are open, that we always are helping each other.
That is so true. And it is great leadership by example from the top on down. I mean, in every department, really. It really is impressive here. So I was very blessed to be privy to the announcement in the media center to your peers, and also I'm going to let you talk about your family members that were there. And then I pulled you to come out in front of 3,000 students-ish at the pep rally. We'll talk about that in a second as well. Tell me about that moment in the media center. Who was there to witness it with you, as far as family members, and what it was like?
So the only family I have in the area is my mom, which was always one of those things that every time I've been up for Teacher of the Year, I was always worried about who would come out. Because if it's just my mom, I felt like it was so noticeable that I just don't have that many people here to support me, which absolutely proved to be untrue, because she invited a family that has essentially taken us in, that I call the girls that they call me their sister, I call them my sister, which is great because I'm an only child. So I've got some siblings then. They may not really be my siblings, but they are my siblings.
That's awesome.
And then their dad, my dad passed away about 1.5 years ago. So their dad has kind of taken me under and does all those dad things. You know, if I have something I'm not sure about with my car, he handles it, or will give me advice. I had a necklace break and he went and welded it back together for me.
Wow.
Or soldered it back together for me. So things like that. So these were my people, and I had no idea that any of them were there. I guess I walked by them in the parking lot. They were all ducked down in their car.
That's awesome.
They pulled all sorts of tricks on me to make sure I had no idea until they walked out. So watching my mom walk out, followed by Marie and Bebin and Mac, it was amazing because I didn't ever expect anyone to care enough to get up so much earlier to be at my school to help surprise me.
That's so awesome. Yeah, we do have a team here called for parents called the Synergy Team, and basically they plan a lot of the events, one of which, of course, is our Teacher of the Year. And we went through a lot of trouble, and not really trouble, but we want to make sure your family was well hidden. So we don't want any giveaways. We wanted that surprise, and I think we accomplished it, basically.
Absolutely. And now that I know my mom can trick me beyond anybody else.
I love it. Now, later on the next day, we had a huge pep rally, our first pep rally of the year. Like I said, 2,500 plus. And I made you come out, and I saw the look in your face when I handed you the mic and said, say something. And you were like, what? So tell me how that event went down.
So I love to be the center of attention in my classroom. I do not like to be the center of attention anywhere else. So walking out onto the basketball court during the pep rally was already a big enough deal, but I was able to spot one of my students in the crowd, which helped a lot because I could at least aim myself at somebody I knew loved me and supported me and talk to her as I was addressing every student in there, because I could at least find one that I knew.
That's awesome, and you did great. As we wind down, let's say you're looking across the table at a young Erin Medved, just getting ready to get into teaching. What would you tell her about your favorite aspect of teaching, and what does she need to know to really make herself someone, not necessarily maybe even aspire to be a Teacher of the Year? Not all of us get that opportunity, but just to have great teaching principles and be respected in the classroom.
You have to have two things. You have to love what you're teaching, and you have to love who you're teaching. And if you've got both of those things, you're going to be very successful.
I love that, as are you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Medved, you are our Teacher of the Year. What a great representative of Lambert High School. Parents, when you come by, make sure if you have a chance to meet her, stop in to say hello to her. Her picture will be on the wall with the rest of our faculty members. And we thank you for joining us on Lambert Plains.
Thank you for having me.
And for many of you parents out there, someday hopefully your child will be fortunate to have Miss Medved as your teacher, and we'll speak with you soon.
All right.
Can I get a hook 'em horns?
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em horns. See you later, parents. This is Lambert Plains, and we are out of here.